Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2018 video. Today we're doing something that's a little bit in keeping with what the weather's been like the last couple of days, and also to show off a little work in progress. This is by no means perfect, but it's getting there. Is Kev Butler's 66+ZZA's. And to me it's stunning. A lot of people don't like the BR blue on the 66. I think it suits it really well. And I like the sort of nod to what good liveries were. We've even got the nameplate there that's all done 3D. It's nice. It's not quite perfect yet, as I said. We're also just going to do some line clearing between here and Brundle with the ZZA Snowplows. These should kick up some snow as we get going anyway. So let's get moving. There isn't going to be much in the cab, so I'll do quite a lot of this from outside of the cab. It's just to show some bits off and feel a bit wintry, really. I, for one, am a massive snow fan. Really, really like the snow. So if I can mix that into a scenario, and Train Sim doesn't tend to do snow very well anyway, but I thought Wherry lines, GBRF are close to the, it's like the east tends to be where they do, isn't it? So I thought I could nip it in there and it wouldn't look too out of place. I've stuck it with 66703. We're already hitting you'll be a bit cold there, love, hitting some of the patches, making sure that the line is clearing, pushing it all up to the platforms there. Unfortunately, there isn't much control when it comes to the ZZAs when they kick up their snow and when they don't. It just seems to be after you get sort of over about 10 mile an hour. The only route I know that does snow really, really well is the 37.4 on the West Holland line. That does it very well, but it wasn't mod enough for me to do today, so I thought this would be a bit better. Bit of a broken rail going on there. It's probably a bit more concerning than the snow. So I hope a lot of you, I hope those that enjoy snow got the snow. I know for a lot of people snow is a massive, massive ball ache, really. We got away with it pretty lightly, to be fair. We didn't get much more than maybe about 6 or 7 centimetres at max, and that was maybe overnight for one night. The rest of the time we didn't really get much. And it's good for certain people. Certain people really like it, don't they? I do. But if you've got to get to work, or you've got, I mean, I had one of my friends, Gran's is actually not very well at hospital, and she just had major surgery, and his mum had travelled up to Scotland to see her and that, and couldn't even get there. They were in shot. She was in Clyde. They were in shot. She was in Clydebank, so they had to get a fair distance. Well, it's not really another car. What would it usually take you? Not long at all. But with the weather, it took them. I think they didn't get there for the first couple of days. So I see the pros and cons of it. But when you've got nowhere to go and you've got a nice pub, nothing better than being stuck in a bit of snow, is there? Let's get some of this snow shifted. So the ZZA is available from Just Trains. You get it. I don't know if you get it with. It comes with Bristol Extern. I don't know if you can buy it separately. But I think it has tail lamp. I might not have set these up quite right. It does, yeah, it's got the tail lamp. But it does look pretty cool. I think we're probably going a bit fast for it. I don't know what the maximum speed with ZZA is, to be honest with you. it says here, during ploughing operations, the normal formation of a snowplow train should be 2 independent ploughs separated by 2 mainline diesel locomotives. Where 2 locomotives are used, these should be working in multiple. The snow train must be accompanied by a track engineer representative, a traction supervisor and a rolling stock technician. The driver is permitted to drive from the leading cab of the second locomotive. Oh, that's quite cool. Speed must not exceed 45 miles an hour. So realistically, there we go, we've learnt something already. We should be driving from this cab view. And we can do 45 miles an hour. We're not going to spend too much time in the cab anyway, so we're going to head down and speed it up. No train must run on any adjacent line that is being cleared. No, we don't have any of that problem because we're on a single line here. So the independent snowplows, so the ZZA's, they're large drift ploughs. They were built by British Rail in the 60s on modified frames of steam locomotive tenders. Network Rail has 20 of these ploughs. Most of them are kept, I think these are all north of the border these days, aren't they, the ZZA's? They used to, oh no, there is a set in March. I don't know if there still is a set in March, but there used to be. But they are cool. And the Just Trains model of it is not bad at all. It's the only one that's out there, so it's quite nice. You can tell it's a tender, can't you? You can really see it's sort of the tender. The other snow clearing equipment that Britain also has is you've got MSPs, which are the miniature snowplows. They're the ones you see on the front like the 37s. And that's why it's been quite cool during this snow to see that they've had mainline registered 50. Mainline registered class 50 out doing some clearing duties on the Midland mainline. That's because it's got a miniature snowplow and it was available. So why not? I mean, I saw so much whinging of people going, why is this museum piece out clearing our snow? Well, that museum piece did did a decent job. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. 37s have got them, 47s have miniature snowplows. What else got them? Some 20s had MSPs as well, didn't they? 33s, quite a few of the old style locomotives, but none of the newer locomotives really do. So with miniature snowplows, trains may run normally with a snow line up to 20 centimetres above rail level. When snow is between 20 and 30 centimetres, deep trains fitted 30 centimetres deep, trains fitted with miniature snowplows can run normally. So if it's up to 20 centimetres above the railhead, most trains can get away with that absolutely fine, but it's above that they need to have miniature snowplows fitted. And with miniature snowplows, they may be authorised to run when the snow is up to 45 centimetres above the rail level, so that's pretty high. There was a 37 up in Scotland, I know, doing the rounds. The Dusty Binman, who's been a long time subscriber to my channel and given me loads of tips and advice at the beginning of my YouTube career, has got some wonderful videos. So head on over to the Dusty Binman's channel and have a watch of those. So it says here, many former BR diesel locomotives can be fitted with 3-piece miniature snowplows. However, class 66 and 67 locomotives are not equipped for this. Locomotives fitted with miniature snowplows may be hired by Network Rail for patrol work, running light engine during falling snow to keep the line clear. Miniature snowplows on DMUs, of course. There are 156s. Units were fitted with snowplows and obstacle deflectors when they were introduced to Scotland in 1989. And the 158 units based in Scotland. Now, a few of these are over with GWR as well at the minute. That's 158701 to 746. Had the lower front end fairings modified to include a snowplow blade during 1991. These are officially classed as obstacle deflectors rather than snowplows, though. The other ones that Britain has are the Biohack, the V-plows. So Network Rail has 8 of these plows, which are constructed in the 1980s. They're the Biohack type PB600 plows mounted on former class 40 bogies and are used for patrol work and ploughing drifts of up to 1.8 metres high. There used to be a pair of these at Peterborough. Don't know if there still is. These ploughs may be coupled to the front and rear of a locomotive or worked singly, provided the locomotive is equipped with miniature snowplows. Maximum speed is 45 miles an hour, just like we are on this. The train must be accompanied by a Network Rail Operations Department representative and a rolling stock technician. When in use on double track lines, the plough blades are adjusted to deflect the snow to the left of the track. Normal working can continue on adjacent lines unless the person in charge considers this a danger to other traffic. Network Rail's fleet of Bellhack Snowplows were overhauled at Brodie Rail and Kilmarnock in 2011. Following this, two originally based at Moss End will relocate to Doncaster. Now, the other thing that one of the other really interesting bits, and it's something I love that Network Rail have at their disposal, are the Snowblowers. Now, from what I can work out, there was a couple of these, and there's a couple of versions of these. This one goes on about this bit here talks about the ones that are based in Scotland, which I think they both are now, which is ADB 968500 and ADB 96501, and they're both at Rutherglen. I don't know if they still are. This information could be a little outdated. These again are Bellhack self-propelled rotary snowblowers, which can operate up to 40 miles per hour when not clearing snow. The first machine was built in 1980 and based at Inverness. A second was built in 1989 for Network South East and based in London. It moved to Kilmarnock in 2002. Both snowblowers moved to Motherwell in 2007 and to Rutherglen on-track plant depot in 2008. Snowblowing may only take place when traffic on adjacent lines has been stopped. The snowblower machines feature a built-in turntable allowing them to change direction of snow clearance, so they can literally jack themselves up and turn on their bogies themselves. The whole top of the whole body and chassis of the loco of the unit turns itself and then sits back down. An experimental snowblower mounted on a redundant Grampus open wagon, number DX69001, had been parked out of use at Perth New Yard for many years until it was scrapped in 2008. Oh, I'd like to see a picture of that. I have to find one. So these snowblowers, I mean, when I was a kid, you had the I Spy books, and I think I've said this in one of my other videos. You used to just tick things even if you hadn't seen them, and you could send it off and get a badge. And I used to love the fact that it did have this snowblower in it, and it was the most fascinating thing I'd ever seen. I was just completely astounded that we had something like this in the UK. And if you look back to the Network South East snow train, it was a whole train with this snowblower thing at the front of it, or at the back of it, realistically. And all these really nice blue carriages. It was beautiful, beautiful looking thing, and it just completely, I was besotted with it as a child. And I used to always lie in every single one of the books I got. I used to always tick it and write because I used to live in Scotland at the bottom of it. It's just stupid, but interesting, really, really interesting. I've never seen it in action. I don't think I've ever even seen a video of it in action. To be fair, I don't know if I've looked, but they are very, very cool. After that, what did we get? Scotland-wise, they had the Snow Train, which are former YXA wagons, and a QXA mess coach, which is an X Mark II. Scotland has its own £1 million winter weather engineering train that quickly defrosts rail junctions. The train has hot air blowers at either end and uses blasts of steam and hot water and compressed air to quickly thaw frozen points. It is also used to transport equipment and people quickly to wherever they are needed on the network. So, pretty cool bit of kit. I'd never seen that until I started looking here. Network Rail also invested in some snow trains a little while ago, wasn't it? They did the Class 57s. Which was quite funny, because I don't think they use them at all anymore, do they? They don't use 57s anymore, I don't think. I'll get some brake on here. do quite like the noise that this makes. I don't really know what restrictions are placed on ZZA's either, whether there's certain parts of the line they're not cleared for or you can't use them. I'm sure there's going to be something that they will hit or obstruct or something, I'm not sure. We also got to remember that we had that very famous phrase bandied about the last sort of couple of weeks, and that was the wrong type of snow. Now, there's actually a wiki article about the wrong type of snow, and I'm going to read it to you now. And I just to see if it adds up to my understanding of where this wrong kind of snow problem came from. So it says here, the wrong type of snow or wrong kind of snow is a phrase coined by British media in 1991 after severe weather caused disruption on many British rail services. A British Rail press release implied that management and its engineering staff were unaware of different types of snow. Henceforth, the United Kingdom, the phrase became a byword of euphemistic and pointless excuse. So I kind of know where this phrase came from. So I'm going to read what it says here. The phrase originated in an interview conducted by James Naughtie on BBC Radio 4's Today programme on the 11th of February 1991. British Rail's Director of Operations, Terry Worrell, was asked to comment on the adverse effects of the unusually heavy 1991 snowfall on railway services that winter. Worrell explained that we're having a particular problems with the type of snow, which is rare in the UK. Naughtie replied, "Oh, I see. It was the wrong kind of snow." To which Worrell replied, "No, it was a different type of snow." The exchange prompted headline in the London Evening Standard saying British Rail blames the wrong type of snow, which was swiftly taken up by the media and other papers. Now, my understanding of where a lot of this came from was because it was very much like the snow we've just had. It was very, very cold, very, very powdery snow. And that was getting into everything. And because it was just so cold, it was literally being blown into places that it wouldn't usually get blown. And this was happening with the 91s. So this brand new service, you think February 1991, you had your 91s running. And they were going up to Leeds at the time, and they were getting stopped. They were just cutting out because water was getting in, because the snow was blowing in through the vents and then melting. This happened to Eurostars later on, or 373s, or for Albi's sake, TMSTs. That happened to them not that long ago, maybe 10 years ago, if that. And they end up putting some sort of mesh, like a fabric behind the grills, if I remember rightly, to stop it happening. So it goes on to say the cold snap had been forecast and British Rail claimed to be ready for the coming winter. However, the snow, which was not deep enough for snowplows or snowblowers to be effective, was usually soft and powdery. There we go, finding its way into electrical systems and causing short circuits and traction motor damage in trains. For traction motors with integral cooling fans and air intakes pointing downwards, the type is still common on British Electric multiple units. The problem was made worse as air brakes sucked up the loose snow. Meanwhile, the snow also became packed into sliding door mechanisms and points, causing them to fail. In addition, low temperatures resulted in problems with current collection from the third rail. Many electric services had to be replaced by diesel haulage and emergency timetables were introduced. Long delays were commonplace, up to 8 hours in some cases. The disruption lasted over a week. Doesn't this sound familiar? And we're talking that was 1991 and we've seen the same thing this time round. Now, while I'm not saying that how the snow was dealt with was brilliant in this time round, I think it's a damn sight better than it ever has been before. I think the railways did pretty well. Bar Greater Anglia cancelling trains for no snow at all, really. I'm not going to get into that anyway. Oh, I said it was 10 years ago, the Euro Challenge. It's actually a bit here. So during December 2009, European snowfall, several Eurostar trains broke down the Channel Tunnel, trapping 2,000 passengers in the dark. Newspapers reported wrong type or fluffy snow. Following the destruction of the coastal railway at Dawlish in Devon during severe weather in 2014, the Daily Telegraph carried a cartoon by Matt with a notice reading, "Trains cancelled, wrong sort of seaweed." So it's become a bit of a joke. It's a bit like the whole leaves on the line thing. There is the wrong type of snow. There is the wrong type of snow, and changing our locomotive designs or massively overhauling all of our EMUs and even electric locos and diesel locos to change the design of the air intakes to stop snow getting into them for something that happens once every 10 years is a bit ridiculous. It is a bit ridiculous. Are these things going to become more prevalent with global warming and climate change? It could do. Global warming doesn't just mean things warm up. It's climate change in general just means severe changes in weather. It's possible. It's possible. What tends to happen after a lot of snow is that the railways tend to have some very much knee-jerk reactions to things. So my hunch is we'll see Network Rail now pulling some wagons out of somewhere and sticking some more big heaters on them or some sort of thing like that, or we'll buy a couple of new snowblowers. If you look at how Network South East ended up with the snowblowers, I think that was the 1987 snowfall. There's loads of really good pictures about it. For the southern region, I think that was where the idea of having the snow train came from. I think it could have been the 2009 one that Network Rail then did their snow train, which was like 2 wagon flats with 57 at either end and then a plough in front of that, I think it was. And that put some de-icing fluid on the third rail and ploughed some of the stuff out of the way. So I'm guessing we'll see something along those lines after this snow. Some of the drifts were mad. If you look, a couple of the news pages, I think it was one of the northeastern news websites had a driver's view of the East Coast Main Line in the snow, and it was unreal. You think driving like that is a bit crazy? That's literally what it looked like. I mean, without that big in front, just imagine all that white snow just right in front of the loco. It's exactly what you had. It was crazy. Some of the drifts were sort of meters high, and the ZZA's did come out and do it. There's a couple of videos as well of a 37 with miniature snowplows on it clearing some smaller drifts. That's really good to watch. They sort of slow down before the drift and then thrash it, really. They slow down, stop, thrash it into the drift and watch it getting all knocked out the way. But you can see the camera shaking as this train's hitting the snow. It really does just make you realise how dense the snow was in some places. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Of course, the worst snow that Britain's had was not the worst it's ever had, but one of the really big ones that's the big one that everybody talks about was the 1962 ones. There's even steam trains completely snowed in. They had to go and dig them out and everything. There's some really good British Transport films, videos of that, which are awesome. So go and have a watch of those as well. I'm going to pause this and try and get a screenshot. See which one of those I like best later. I mean, it sounds daft, but I'd really enjoy getting to go out and be on one of these trains doing these big drift clearing stuff. I think that must be some buzz, that. Some buzz. And it's sort of got that sort of golden eye train look about it, which is actually a Class 20 with a big fiberglass nose. But you all know my fascination with anything yellow and black, and we don't get to use much on-track plant in train sim. There's very, very little, apart from the permaquip. I can't really think of any. There's the 75-ton breakdown crane, which isn't brilliant. But we haven't got any tampers or stone blowers or ballast cleaners or ballast regulators. We've got none of that, and I'd love to see some of it. So being able to do a little bit of plant work is quite nice. And I hope you've enjoyed the video as well. And I've learnt a little bit about snow clearing. I can't find much official word about it, but apart from the bits I've read, and I've read them to you. Right, we better stop at Brundle, because that's where we are meant to stop, and we can stop around that anyway. Oh, are we even going to be able to stop there? I think we might overshoot. So once again, guys, thanks ever so much for joining me in this lovely snow clearing video. I hope that the weather hasn't caused you too much grief, and that you have been able to enjoy some of it and not just been stuck at work or stuck doing other things. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. And if you haven't, do click that subscribe button and the notification button. It does help me out and helps you out to know when my videos are up. Check out the Facebook page. And once again, thanks ever so much. I'll catch you again soon.